This podcast was brought to you by the Lee Iacocca Foundation for the... Fuck.
Oh, it blows the time.
You came over my house and you said you had a 20-second cut.
I have the copy.
You got fuck
I
all.
have the talent.
Where's the copy?
Ladies and gentlemen, the bed has just been shit.
It's all here.
The tire has been
I don't
blown.
know if it's shit as bad as Benny's Air biscuit, but it's been shit.
No.
Are you ready to
That
cut
is not
again?
as,
No, forget it.
Oh,
you suck anal cavity.
That was highly specific.
I know. Jesus.
Welcome to the Crew Roundtable Podcast, featuring Big V, Marko, Gino, and JR, with your host, the champ who runs the camp, Sal Champ. Visit us at crewroundtable.com.
hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crew Roundtable. This week on the Crew Roundtable, we'll be discussing bidding on the big events like the Olympics or Expos. Is it worth it? Is it worth hosting these events or even bidding on them? We're going to find out right now on the Crew Roundtable. But let's introduce my panel. Starting on my left, we have Big V.
Oh, my balls are chafing.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does not reflect...
The views of...
Thank you. The views of the other panelists on here.
I didn't expect it to be the views of anybody else in the panel. You just asked for an introduction. I gave one.
You can just go home and get some A-Rub 35, whatever.
A535.
Yeah. The feeling in my face is coming back. To Big V's left.
You need more Lake Wilcox.
Oh God. To Big V's left, we have Marko Tito.
Good evening.
Aren't you?
Oh, you tried to sound like Vincent Price there.
I know.
Good
So-
evening.
Can you have your grandson Jody deliver those chicken legs from the Magic Egg Kit?
What?
Oh my God, I love
That's a
that.
Simpsons reference.
Anthony, Big V just fell off his chair. To his left, we have the Breeze.
Oh, greetings and salutations, champ. Thank you very much for having me in your illustrious home. I cannot wait to get started on this topic.
Wonderful. And finally, we have JR on the snowball.
Thank you, champ. I just can't wait to sink my teeth into this topic.
Your levels look good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Is the Olympics or Expo,
Or any other major athletic?
yeah, what was the one?
Games,
Pan Am Game. Is it
whatever.
worth it? Is it worth the trouble, the money? Who wants to kick this discussion off?
Are we talking only about the
I'll
Olympics?
start. No, I think.
You know what?
The argument can be made across
Yeah.
the board. They're very.
Well,
Let me tell you something.
No, I think
Hold
I know
up.
where he's going on this, because to a level,
There's a big
comparing the
difference.
Olympics
There's a
to
big
the
difference
Pan
between
Am-
bidding for the Super Bowl and bidding for the Olympics.
yeah, there's like when we.
Well, we're
bidded
not
for
going to
the-
get a Super Bowl here.
No, when we bidded for the Pan Ams, that was for a certain level of number of participants.
Context, where are we?
Oh, sorry, we're in Toronto, and the Pan Am Games was basically involving countries that were both in North and South America, and compared to the Olympics, that is obviously maybe like a third or a quarter of the number of countries that would be represented, and with respects to the number of participants as well, and basically the scope of the Pan Am Games compared to the Olympics. The Olympics is obviously a little more of a grandiose scale, and you would require far more facilities, and with regards to not just sports, but also being able to house the number of spectators. So I think I know where Breeze was going on that one there. I think depending on the level of the athletic competition that is being bidded for, and with respects to the city that wants to host it, there's both pros and cons with regards to. I think for where we live in Toronto, I think maybe athletic competitions along the lines of Pan Am, or even what's the one with the Commonwealth Games. Those can be beneficial because the infrastructure and the money and everything else required to host them, to prepare for them, isn't as taxing, and you don't require as much as you would for the Olympics. And because the scope is not as big, I think depending on the size of the city, they could benefit more from the number of facilities, newer facilities that are developed or built to host those games, can benefit cities the size of Toronto, and compared to if they were to try and host the Olympics, that might be a scale that might be too big, and we would not benefit from it necessarily.
A question for our illustrious leader. Chad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we narrowing this discussion to talk about bidding for these items or bidding for these events as it relates to Toronto, or just bidding for these events in general?
It would be in general.
In general.
Yeah,
Okay.
because now here's the thing. We have the Olympics.
Who's we?
In general.
Oh, he's just saying
in
the
general,
Olympics
there's the
exist.
Olympics,
The
okay?
Olympics
I thought you were
exist.
talking about the failed bid by Toronto for the
No,
Olympics.
no,
No.
let's just-
He's saying that the Olympics exist.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we got the Olympics.
There is a world, and within this world, the Olympics exist.
Right.
That's
And
what
we
I said.
have
Yes.
and we and
What world do you live
and
in?
Your world.
it costs millions of dollars just to put in a bid. Okay?
Millions.
It's in the millions.
Yeah.
It's in the millions.
Yeah.
But then we have the World Expo. Okay, so the Olympics will give us 4 weeks of people coming to the city, whatever. But then we got the Expo, which gives us 6 months or maybe a year.
It's a year, but it's a slower trickle. It's not as big a show.
Right.
What was the last one? Was that Montreal? Expo?
In
No,
Canada?
Vancouver, I think, had an expo.
Expo
They had an
86?
Expo? Serious?
Vancouver had an expo.
What
Expo
was Montreal?
with the little robot.
Montreal was, I think, in the 70s.
Oh Lord! So before we were
Expo
born?
Expo 68?
That's the Montreal one. I think Vancouver had an expo recently.
Expo 86.
Yeah.
So there was Expo 86. We had, Montreal had an Expo. But the thing is that, okay, it's a longer time frame, but yeah, you said that there's a slower trickle of people. Maybe.
Slower rate of return.
If you look at the vast majority of the spending on these larger spectacles, we're talking spectacles that expect large volumes of people in short amounts of time. World Cups,
Yeah. Oh.
the Olympics, are
World
the
Cups
two-
of World Cup
Soccer.
of soccer, football. Those are the two biggest events that any country will host. If you're expecting large volumes of people, the majority of the expenditure is not on the venue but the local infrastructure. Yes, the venues are not insignificant, but the vast majority of it is building roads, improving them, public transportation.
Yeah.
The largest cost of the Vancouver game was the highway to Whistler. Oh yeah, that was the major expenditure in the construction. A lot of people do complain that the costs are constantly escalating, and like most evils in the world, we can also blame the Nazis for this. A little.
What the hell are you talking
No,
about?
no, wait for it.
A
Let's-
little
let's-
research,
he's
a little
getting to
research
it.
on the cost of the games. The first 4 or 5 of the modern Olympic Games cost respectively less than $1 million US. Now that is still a lot, but they were well under $1 million US. The Munich Games in the 1930s were the first explosion to $30 million, which was it was well over 30 times what anyone had spent to that point. and it was also referred to as the propaganda games. I think it was the first games where spectacle started to trump the
actual sports.
The actual sports.
Wasn't that also where the black man won all the gold medals?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I'm-
And Jesse Owens, wasn't he the one who kind of did that in spite of all the Nazi propaganda?
True, but that was nobody knows who's going to win the medals. That's you don't lose. It's not because.
I think what he's trying to say is
winning.
they plan to spend all that money and the spectacle way before anybody even got there.
Precisely. Yes.
Yeah, I think they planned to spend the
became a
money to
president.
get the games so they could get
It
their
became a
propaganda.
president.
Precisely.
President.
It was
sorry.
more of a party than it was more the showmanship
Yeah.
than the sportsmanship.
And it became the baseline for everybody else to try and improve upon.
Exactly, and spending escalated from there.
Are you of the persuasion that Hitler was misunderstood?
No, did not say. I say we did not say that.
I think he just said
So-
that they
so
spent
is it
way too
worth
much
Okay,
money.
thank you for clearing that up. Go ahead.
Should cities go out, bid, and try to get the games?
It depends on what they're trying to do. You don't profit on infrastructure. The city will benefit,
Yes.
but you don't always profit on it. So if you're going to go out and make a profit like Atlanta did, Atlanta made a heavy profit. However, they had poor infrastructure. The Atlanta Games were an Olympic embarrassment. They were notorious for people losing their medal, losing the returning champions, losing their competitions while waiting on the bus to get to their venues.
Oh.
Many people missed their matches. A lot of titles were lost. Like the defending champions lost their titles, not ever having competed because
So are
the
you
traffic
saying
was
the Atlanta?
unbelievable.
Are you saying the Atlanta Games were a success?
No, they were
No.
miserable.
I thought-
They were financially successful, but they were a performance failure.
Okay.
The goal did not happen.
So if
No.
we're narrowing this discussion to talk about the Olympics, okay, and is it worth it for a city to bid for the Olympics? How do you define a successful Olympics?
That's a very excellent question.
Oh no, it's actually quite simple.
Let me tell you
It's a twofold answer.
Educate me.
If the actual event runs smoothly, as everybody would hope it would, and B, that the city actually, not immediately afterwards, but 2 or 3 years down the road, whatever infrastructure, facilities, whatever was built because of it, they are actually benefiting from it.
True.
It's being used either for what it was built for, slightly modified, or the fact that it's actually being used and it's not just sitting there being empty.
I agree with you.
Those are basically really the two criteria to say if an Olympics was successful. Did it run okay? And then 3 or 4 years down the road, the infrastructure that was built for it to help to facilitate it, is it still being used? Did the populace of that city gain from having that infrastructure that was created for it?
Just to build on that,
Unlike
I agree with you.
Toronto, a subway line extension that was given money for the Pan Am Games to help facilitate and transport people to venues that actually, to this date as we speak, right now, November the 5th, 2016, that extension has not even been finished yet.
And what's the date of the games?
The games happened
In
a year and a
2015.
half ago almost.
No, let's not a half. Come on, it was July, August.
Dude, we're in
August,
we're in
August,
November.
a year and a half.
So yeah,
Okay, a year and
almost
4
a year.
months. I'm
Almost
sorry,
a year.
but anyways,
let's
But
stick to the facts.
To
I'd be willing
elaborate
to
on
accept a
to
year and a
elaborate
half.
on Big V's point.
2 points for me.
Let's compare two similar events:
I only award
the
points.
Vancouver Olympics and the Sochi Olympics.
2 points for champ.
Both
Hey,
did
you can't
go
be on both sides.
over budget, but the Vancouver Olympics they gained a new major highway
Yes.
to connect Vancouver with an existing vacation area.
Attraction.
Whistler always existed. It was always a highly successful vacation
It just sucked
area.
trying to get there.
It was very difficult to get there. Sochi, on the other hand, tried to create their own Whistler. To date, nobody goes there. They destroyed acres upon acres of good forest. They built a whole vacation.
This is Russia, right?
Yeah, inside Russia. They built a whole village and vacation area with the expect that people would then go there to on ski vacations afterwards. Apparently, it is now a ghost town. Nobody goes to Sochi for vacation.
Because nobody has money. But anyways.
That's
Well,
like
there are people in Russia that have the money.
Not enough.
No one would go there.
That's
Nobody
like
wants to go
the,
there. It was something nobody was asking for.
So, JR, are you saying that it
I'm
is
saying Sochi
not
was a
worth...
failure.
Okay, but are you also saying that it is not worth it ever to bid for the Olympic Games?
Most cities, I don't think see the giant boost that they are hoping for. I mean, other than if you're trying to hopefully advertise your city, maybe so. I don't think Brazil hosted the World Cup and the Olympics in consecutive.
Let's. I think we should exclude the World Cup because it's Brazil. Like, you can have the World Cup there every 4 years, and it most likely will never be a failure because it's Brazil. It's a soccer country.
Well, the World Cup is a lot easier to put on than the
Yes,
Olympics.
especially being in Brazil because soccer is sacred there. Okay, the Olympics is a different story. I think venues like this, the Olympics, the Pan Am Games, the Commonwealth Games, to a point, I believe it would be beneficial for cities that originally are lacking infrastructure with regards to either public transportation, athletic facilities, stuff like this that they could actually use afterwards because it never existed to begin with.
But what if they're left as ghost towns, ghost stadiums?
But they have to be okay. Sochi was it near a central? Was it in a city near a central city? Was it in the middle of God's country?
Neither is Whistler.
Okay, but Whistler already existed. Whistler
had to get created at once. Somebody had to
come up
with the idea.
Yes,
Hey,
but
you don't have to go to Whistler. Look at Calgary.
Yeah, but the thing is, Whistler has been there longer than we've been alive, almost. It's been established, and it's basically, if you want awesome skiing in Canada, it was always there, right? Sochi, you created something that there was never really a demand or a need for, like you indicated,
fair.
and it wasn't near a populous area that can utilize it necessarily.
I thought Sochi was a resort town originally.
It was kind of a resort town, but it was a major upgrade. I mean, Sochi as a city, as a town, probably existed, but I don't think it had this elaborate, lush resort area.
So if we're looking at these,
And, sorry, to finish what I was saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like, if you have these events, and whatever infrastructure that you gain from holding these events, it should be near the people that would take advantage of it, and be able to take advantage of it. Right? Not in wherever.
Sarajevo Olympics.
Yeah, successful or not? I don't know. I don't know the
But
numbers.
have you seen the facilities now?
Well, they've been shot at and torn to bits.
They're
Okay,
yeah.
you
There's
can't-
nothing left.
That's
Okay,
a function of war.
You
right?
can't
Yeah.
really use that as an example.
But still, these are facilities that are just left empty.
But nobody expects them to be. No one expects war.
Nobody expects them to
No,
be
no.
bombed.
Okay, fine. Okay,
No plan for
Montreal.
war.
Okay, the Montreal Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, okay,
They
that's
just
a better
finished paying
example.
that off.
30 years of debt.
Yes.
Wow,
30
I
years
didn't
of
even
debt.
know that.
30
Yeah, it
years
took
to
a
pay
long
it off.
time.
I remember. I think it was after 2009. I read the newspaper. They just finished paying off the debt
Yes.
after 2009
Yeah.
on that stadium.
And that's in
Fun,
a,
cool.
that's
That
in a
bank
major,
must have made all kinds of money.
well,
Whoever that
well,
money was owed to.
that's
I
a
mean, I'm
major-
sure there was some.
Like, that's
you
a
know.
major metropolitan area. Certainly, there's enough people to
Don't forget, when Montreal got the Olympics, they were the prime city in Canada.
They're the biggest.
They were
population-wise,
the biggest city,
right?
And then the whole separatist thing
Montreal was
happened,
the
and
place
everyone
cigarette
up and
tax
moved to Toronto.
to pay that off. Like that's the
They what,
result.
sir?
That was a cigarette. That was a result of a cigarette tax to pay off the Olympics.
So it's not an easy. It's not an easy
How about
calculation to
irony?
figure out
Yeah.
whether it's successful or not, right? Like it's not a.
I think it depends.
It's not
You
just
have to
about
set
whether
the
it's
goals.
profitable, right? Because like you said, Atlanta Games profitable,
And
but
they
nobody,
had a major bombing.
but nobody's gonna stand
Let's
up
not
and
forget
say
that.
it's successful, right? For all
Yeah,
the
it was.
reasons
It was
you-
by all means. It was a black eye on the whole Olympics.
And
I mean,
it'll probably never take place.
Wasn't
again
there any
because of that.
corruption in those Atlanta games too?
There's been corruption probably up until everything.
You know what?
has happened.
usually if there's
I think
corruption, there's a lot. You
Everyone,
lose
but the one
money
in
with
Atlanta
corruption.
really stood out.
in terms of its poor quality because it was heavily corporate sponsored.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
yes.
they got criticized for
Yeah.
that. There was.
Coca-Cola,
Let us
I
not
think.
forget was there one or two bombings at the
I
Olympic
can't
Games?
remember, but
There's
Atlanta
a
did
there was at
have
least one major bombing.
the best torch lighting ceremony I've ever seen.
With the,
Oh, was it?
Maybe it was actually a bomb.
Or
The
was that?
Archer.
Is
The
that a?
Archer.
Oh yes.
Oh.
They had the
I
best
thought
torch.
that was Barcelona.
No,
That was Sarajevo.
Yeah, but moving. Let's I would rather take this a step backwards.
Yeah.
And I would say that the Olympic Games themselves are a rather antiquated notion and should be done away with.
Yeah. You know
I
what?
would imagine within our lifetimes, no one's going to be hosting the Olympic Games.
Sorry,
It's a lot
because
of money. Well,
the
no,
people,
you know what?
the people who are bidding now. So there is a bid process going on right now for the 2024.
Yeah.
Okay, think about that. It's 2016. They're bidding on the
years from
2024 games,
Is it tag team?
summer games.
Tag team cities?
No, the two front runners are Paris and shit, it's escaping me.
Qatar
No.
is bidding on everything nowadays.
Yeah.
No,
And they'll host it in the winter.
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Oh,
So it's Paris and Los Angeles that are bidding for these games.
interesting.
Just the cost to bid, building on what our illustrious leader Champ said earlier, $50 million.
It's a $1 million
Just-
package.
Just to bid. We're
50
talking
million.
50 million dollars. Okay.
Like,
Now,
that's crazy.
a city like Paris already has a lot of the infrastructure there.
Yes, transportation is not a problem there.
Okay, so they are already a world-class city. They are a leading city. They are a city that people go to. Paris
Regardless.
probably gets more visitors every year than who knows how many other places combined. So they're already used to dealing with moving people around the city.
No,
and
they
getting
have
people
they have
where
an
need to go.
excellent infrastructure
Okay.
for public transportation.
Right? Yeah.
Many European countries
Right.
are already situated like that.
Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a city, and I think
By car.
I think the city of Los Angeles has more people living in it than our country of Canada.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
So they are already used to moving a lot of people around. Getting the games is not going to put Paris on the map. Getting the games is not going to put Los Angeles on the map. The Olympics are becoming a big city, big ticket item that you're simply just doing for vanity reasons. Okay?
This is true.
When Toronto was bidding for the games in 1996, I didn't really care one way or the other. Today, I would say, I don't want the Olympics in my city,
Yeah.
right?
No, you're right. That we would have been just as disastrous as Atlanta was.
Just as I would say, I would be one of the people. And there's a
We definitely would not had a subway built for it. That's for sure.
okay, subway issues aside, with the Toronto Transit Commission, there's a group called Bread Not Circuses that actually campaigned against the Toronto bid. I see no value to having these games because I see I see no value to the Olympic Games at all.
Yeah.
I see no value to them. Okay, I don't understand why for 3 weeks, every 4 years,
Is it 4 weeks?
I have to suddenly care about
Two
the.
and two.
Yes, I don't see why I have to suddenly care about the women's modern pentathlon, or women's weightlifting, or whatever. Like I don't want to rag on women's games, but it's like the amount of games the amount of sporting events that are there. There are only a handful that generate money. There are only a handful that allow professionals to compete,
That's true.
and goes against the original Olympic motto of amateur athletes. The athletes don't make any money off of the Olympic Games. The Olympic organizers are using the athletes as a free source of labor to put on their circus to show us everything that's going on in the world of sport. I don't get it. I don't particularly like the Olympics. For all the Olympic athletes that are out there and trying to get there, and that's the pinnacle of their sporting career, hey, that's great. But I don't particularly get it. I don't watch the Olympics. I don't care for them. I don't see what the point is of bidding for them. I don't know. Does anyone else have any comments on that?
No, I think you're right. It is primarily a vanity project. I can see for developing nations, it's basically a spotlight. It's like lighting a Klieg light on the city for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but
sometimes
does that really help? Like, did Lillehammer suddenly turn into a center of world trade and commerce and art because they hosted the Olympics in the 90s or 80s or
I
whatever
don't know,
it was?
but
Like-
it gets you known. And if you want to be a part of the world stage, you have to be able to step up to that. So I would imagine you'd have to be able to put something like that on.
Do you think Paris will be diminished on the world stage if they lose the Olympic bid?
No, in that case, it's not. And that's why I specifically said for developing nations. Paris, you're right. Paris is not a developing nation.
But developing nations can't afford to do the Olympics justice.
Apparently they do, because they are. China's done it quite well.
You think China is a developing nation?
It was once upon a time.
They spent
It still is. It still kind of is.
they
Are you
spent
crazy?
money that you
China?
They
China's
spend
got
money,
money,
that
but
you don't
they're
even
still-
No, I'm sorry. They spent money that you don't even know about on the Olympic Games, okay? They had something like a 96% sold ratio for all of the Olympic tickets, okay? And their games went 2% over budget.
Wow.
Now, I don't believe any statistics that come out of China.
No.
Okay, because when you look at all the other Olympic Games that went over budget, we're talking double-digit figures, sometimes triple-digit figures that they went over budget. So suddenly China is this master budgeting economy where they came in 2% over. I don't buy it for a second.
The Nagano Olympics CEO had all their records destroyed. Nobody even knows what Nagano spent on their Olympics.
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
There you
They actually had all the records destroyed.
So I understand you're against hosting the games, right?
Well, let's
So I
take,
like the
let's
games.
take a step
Someone
back,
else can pay
Chad.
for them.
I am against the games in general.
Okay.
I don't care who hosts them because I think it's just I think the Olympic Games themselves are an antiquated notion for
Yeah.
a different time in human history.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way that, you know what? It's a big waste of money. But that 2010 Vancouver Games felt good watching it.
Oh yeah, I have to agree with that.
You know?
Oh yeah, I felt so Canadian.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
there
It
was
very proud.
really
I was
some
very
national pride in watching those games. We were
Why?
hosting
Why?
it.
Why did you?
think it's
have
'cause it's
national
the best
pride
we've
in
ever
hosting
done.
in
You know
Did
what?
really
those
well.
games?
Yeah.
We did well. Whistler was just Canada was just in the news.
Yeah, there was a lot of very positive reports about Vancouver.
Yeah.
People there were worldwide articles just being written about the city that were extraordinarily positive. I would be surprised if Vancouver didn't see a business boost because of it.
Do you think the flood of Chinese money coming into the Vancouver real estate market was influenced in any way by the Olympic Games?
That's not the only money that. Is
No,
in the
I
market,
believe the
though.
decrease in the Canadian dollar was the
that might be the
interest of
primary-
all the Chinese money coming in.
Okay, we know that we live in one of the best countries in the world.
But now the rest of the world does.
You think they know that from the Olympic Games?
Yeah, actually, it's a very strong exposure.
I don't buy it.
It's almost
I
a
don't buy
2-week advertising campaign. It is.
When is Canada in the news? When Corey Haim talks about the free trade. Another Simpson reference, but
Okay.
but anyway, I mean,
I have to agree with you, Chad. It was a really awesome.
it was
Games.
really nice to watch it in the news and Canada winning the medals, and you watch the U.S. networks and they would talk about Canada and all that, but you know what? It's still a lot of money that could be used elsewhere.
True, and that's true. And at the end of the day, I don't want Toronto to have the games, but I like watching the Olympic Games.
I don't know how Toronto would host the games. I mean,
We wouldn't.
I think it would be a mess.
I
It would
shudder
be
to
bad.
say it would be as disastrous
Yeah.
as Atlanta,
Yeah.
and their failure was just highlighted that it was a good thing we dodged that bullet.
I was so happy when they didn't get it, because I just see no value in being a host for the Olympic Games, absolutely none. And the people who run the Olympics don't pay the athletes.
No. Oh.
No, you're right.
Okay, the people who run the Olympics don't pay the athletes.
No.
They don't
Now
even
the-
pay to bring them into the town.
Now the athletes,
Paralympics.
may
A
get
lot of the
some.
Paralympics they do.
They may get some compensation from the individual country Olympic committees. So, for
Yeah.
instance, the U.S. Olympic Committee, the Canada Olympic Committee may allow bonuses for getting a gold, a silver, a bronze,
Yes.
or whatever it is, right?
And the
You
tax.
do get a cash reward.
And their
A lot
tax.
of countries do that.
but it's incredibly small for a lifetime of being like, think about it. You get a bronze medal. Okay?
I think you got $5,000 or something.
You get a bronze medal. That means that you are the third best person in the world of all the 7 billion human beings
in the
on the
competing-
planet
in the competing world.
who have a chance to compete in your event. You are number 3. You get a check for $5,000.
And that's not to say how much it costs you to train.
Exactly.
And you get
It's
taxed.
it's a
on
full-time
that
job.
$5,000.
Don't
It's
talk
a
to me about
full-time
tax.
job.
Let's
It
not
should
get
be a
into that.
full-time
You
job.
get taxed.
Let's not get
But it
into
costs
that.
a fortune to
Yeah.
use to get the
You
trainers.
gotta get the facilities, the training.
I remember.
It's very
I
expensive.
remember how much they said
So
Phelps would be get taxed by the IRS after.
Context, Phelps.
those medals aren't even.
Context,
Those
Phelps.
medals aren't even
someone
real.
from the U.S.
Eh?
How much he was gonna get taxed as he entered the U.S. after winning all those medals, and
That gold medal isn't even gold.
I know it's not.
No, it's plated.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's gold
they
plated.
made
don't- I don't
it was
know.
out in the news. Yeah, it's not really gold,
I think it depends on the country.
and it's not really silver. I think it's really
Phelps,
bronze.
Phelps is a different tangent, but that dude is such a raging asshole.
Oh,
In China,
Here we go. And now
In
JR
China-
takes
I'll
us
give you
down
this
the
pass.
path
Go
we
ahead.
don't wanna go.
in
The champ is letting us
in
go.
the Olympics, in the Beijing Olympics, he single-handedly won all those golds.
Yeah.
Using a specially designed, technologically advanced
Yes,
swimsuit.
like many other people had the same suit.
I'm talking here.
Many people had the same
JR,
suit.
I'm
JR,
not.
hold
Can let me finish
Go ahead.
my point, Big V, before you counterback.
You are talking, but don't forget, around this table here, the only one who's had experience being a swimmer at a competitive level is Big V.
But he's not finished. I have not finished my point.
he's got to finish.
Go ahead.
He's
It's
got
not
to
be-
finish his
It's
argument.
not
Go ahead.
because he used the suit. It's because as soon as a German swimmer or an Australian swimmer, I can't remember, came out with the better suit, suddenly he was against having them. You know, when he had the number one suit in the world, it was all fine. But suddenly, when he had the second best suit in the world, he then petitioned the World Swimming Board to ban them.
Big V, you're
And that is what I call a poor loser.
So when you say swimsuit, you're talking about that piece
The
of
full
fabric.
body. No, the full body.
No, the full body one.
Oh, he wore a full body
in
one?
Beijing, everyone was wearing full body.
Yeah,
one.
Really?
And then,
How did I miss
unfortunately, what happened was afterwards,
You
all the
missed that.
times, any world records or whatever that were accumulated at that Olympics, they were disqualified simply because the suits were found to be too buoyant. The percentage of rubber within the suits was past the
legal limits.
legal limits of what
Which Olympics?
the one you were just mentioning.
Beijing.
Beijing?
Olympics?
Yes.
Beijing. You were
I
talking
didn't.
about
I
Beijing.
didn't see them stripping Phelps's.
No,
medals.
no, they didn't strip anybody of,
they're not
of any
taking them
medals
away.
because multiple people were wearing the suits, but they stripped the times because the suits allowed for greater buoyancy than because the rubber that was exceeded what was. Technically, there shouldn't be any rubber within the suits.
The only one who gets a medal stripped is Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Well-
okay, whatever. Anyways, nobody was stripped of any medals. Times were basically disqualified. because of the suits.
Nobody cares about
and
that.
that's why nobody
if you
now.
still have the goal. If you still have the hardware, that's all that's important.
No, that's why nobody really wears those suits. Any of the males, don't wear any full body suits anymore because
Phelps suddenly got a bee up his ass that he was not winning anymore. Then suddenly he petitioned to have them all removed, and that is the wrong reason. It is the wrong reason.
Okay, we need to start. Hold on a second here.
How does this talk about?
We're moving away.
Whether we should or not.
We're moving away from the subject here.
They get that off my chest.
We're moving away from the subject.
Much like the rubber suit.
Champ, I blame you for this going off tangent.
We're moving away from
for giving
poor-
JR this opportunity to bitch about Phelps.
There's
I know,
Poor
I
moderation
I blame you
happening
for this.
here.
Minus 2 points.
No, minus 2 points.
Nobody
I echo
takes
that.
my
That means
points.
it's minus 4.
Nobody takes my points.
Thumbs up to the
bravo.
breeze.
So the Olympics waste the money. Do
Um,
you feel the same about Expo, World Exposition?
Define for me what the Expo is.
So the exposition is a longer period of time. Now, I don't know what the stats are with the past Expo in Italy was.
There was an expo in Italy?
There was. The last exposition was in Italy. It was last year.
I have no clue.
Expos have traditionally introduced technologies to the world.
Yes.
Right.
They are a bigger showcase. But I guess because they're not so concentrated, they're easily forgotten.
Yes.
But I
It
don't.
takes a lot more promotion.
Do you think there's a more emphasis on public
Okay.
transit and moving people around, or is it just Canada will come in, they'll build their pavilion as like the other countries, and that's it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I haven't.
How much money can you lose?
Like, I don't even know where the last 3 expos have been.
The last
didn't
one
even
was
know-
in
I didn't-
Italy.
I didn't even know
Milan. Milan was the last.
I didn't even know that they were still doing expos.
That's my answer.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that they were still doing expos.
Yeah, I know. Me neither.
Oh yeah.
But okay,
yeah.
I realize that the expos in the past or even still currently revolved around exposing the populace to
Pick the Lickermans.
new technologies, better way of life, etc.
He's got beer in there.
Oh, dude, did you just? Okay,
Actually, you live close.
my glass has
it's
been
whiskey
poisoned with some type of third name brand whiskey. I
It's
don't know.
actually the Trailer Park Boys Lickerman's whiskey.
But-
so enjoy it.
No, I'm sorry. As a Canadian, you polluted my beer.
But it's Canadian whiskey.
I'm very offended.
Continue,
let's
continue.
get
back
I
on
gotta
topic.
I gotta
Back
get
on
more
topic.
nachos.
Back on
Continue.
topic.
Okay.
Yeah, take a picture of that.
Back on topic.
Like what are these expos introducing now? Like
They're
what?
supposed to introduce new technologies.
But what?
I expect to see Iron Man at Expo.
Yeah. Bionic,
okay.
like Steve Austin.
Okay, let's be honest.
I'm gonna get
Past expos, say in the 70s and maybe even the 80s.
Hey, the Expo that was in Montreal was a huge cultural event.
Okay, hold on. What I'm trying to say is, back in the day, the introduction of considerable advancements in technology, way of living, etc., were obviously it showed at those expos. With the expos today, right? Like, what are they really giving us that we're not experiencing through everyday life throughout 365 days of the week? Like, what are they introducing to us that companies are just not introducing to us already throughout the entire year? Like, what benefits are there to having expos anymore with regards to new technologies if car shows are showing us the new technologies? Home shows are showing us new technologies,
There's the Consumer Electronics Show that takes place in Las Vegas every year.
etc.
Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Apple developers.
So this is what I'm trying to
conference that
say.
takes
There's
place every
all
year.
these
World
other
Developers Day.
World Developers Day.
There's
Google
all these-
has their own. What's
Google I/O Day.
Google I/O Day. So these expos.
Okay, thank you
are
for
useless.
elaborating more of what I was trying to say.
Yes.
If this is continuously happening, every month, 12 months of the year, by whoever, car industry, home industry, electronic industry, yada 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 industry. This is why I said to JR, I didn't even know that they were still doing expos because
It's not every. It's like the Olympics. It's not every year.
what
Every
is
4
Expo?
years, 6 years. I don't know.
I don't know the frequency of
I
the
don't think
expo.
there is a set. Yeah, there's not a set frequency.
But is it even necessary anymore? Because nobody's waiting to introduce new technology.
It's not like-
they're
you know
just
what?
doing it.
It's not
when
like-
it's ready and when it's to go out.
It's not like the Grand World 1888 Exposition where they invented where they showcased the first elevator.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Eiffel
Is-
Tower.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, is it medical stuff that they're showing off? Is it like what is it?
I don't know. But you know, if you really want to know something about upcoming technology, you just Google it now. Right? It's kind of outdated to have this thing where
Well,
your beer is
Don't
mixed
you-
with whiskey and it's gross.
don't you think that
A
don't you-
World Expo
Oh,
may
I've been
occur
poisoned by this.
yeah?
once
concoction.
every 5 years.
Huh?
Every 5 years?
May occur once every 5 years.
That's a very soft.
That's apparently that's
So
what it says.
basically, in other words, is anybody stupid enough to actually host it?
This is according to worldsfair.com.
But you know,
So
it's
it may occur every 5 years.
Wow.
It's
Yeah, but
probably a lot. It's probably less of a economic and
Oh
kind of
yeah,
social
because they'll
burden,
use
right?
existing infrastructure and
Yeah,
buildings
and there's not a
that's there.
there's
No,
not
I
a-
think
there's-
you're building your pavilion,
Well, I
right?
don't know.
No, because some cities
Pavilion for
already
what?
have huge. Like look at downtown Toronto. We
I
have the
think
Metro,
you're building
We
your
have the Metro
pavilion.
Convention. We have what's it what do they use for the
AJR?
Pardon?
The what?
in August, the downtown
The World Exposition. I
Migrate-
think you're building your pavilion. You're building
3 weeks.
Yes.
Yes, thank
I
you.
don't think you're.
Don't they
I don't
have,
think you're going. I don't
huge
think it's
building and
like a tech
pavilions
expo.
there
you
every,
come in, you
every,
set up a
every year
table,
for
and
the
like,
X
this
that
is
they
like
have
floating.
stuff in.
You're still.
I think you're
you're
showing-
You are
you know,
showcasing your.
You're
stuff
showcasing architecture.
No, you're showing the
Like-
inside
like-
the pavilion showcases technologies and things that you're touching
Right,
here,
but
so
I think you're building the building too.
that's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. And the country, the host country gets more than just one pavilion.
Hold on, but expos used to be.
Yeah.
you get a
But
large-
every country that participates in the expo will come in, will put their own, will set up their own building.
Yes, but expos are about. Expos used to be about. Here's the world of tomorrow, today, right? We don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
No, because the world of tomorrow, back in
I
the
know.
day,
I know.
was
it's-
literally
everything's moving so quick.
This is what we will be
because-
doing in 20 years, 25 years from now. Now it's like, what are they showing us? What's happening in 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like
Yeah.
By the time the expo comes out,
it's outdated.
it's out of date. Exactly, Big V. By the time the expo
dude.
comes out,
Okay.
it's outdated. So we don't need the expo anymore. When it comes to the Olympics, I don't care about the Olympics. I'm sorry. When it comes to the Olympics, I never watch it when it's on TV.
Okay,
Right.
but that's you. The
Okay.
question is it worth
So
economically, socially, and infrastructurally?
has anyone
For a
looked at the
city-
stats?
About the Olympics?
What kind of stats? What stats are you looking at?
You know what? Obviously, if we're putting on a show, we want to get something in return. Is it worth it?
Okay, so no Olympic Games is worth it from a bottom line perspective.
Right.
From an economic perspective.
This is true.
Oh
They've
yeah.
all- They have all gone over. You can go all the way back to Lillehammer and Sarajevo. They've all gone over budget. There's always some nebulous. It helps with infrastructure. It helps with culture. It helps with something else. It's from a strictly dollar perspective. From a strict dollar perspective,
Yeah.
it makes no sense.
It's a lot of money.
It's
a
not-
lot of money.
It's too much money, right? There's like I love the Olympics.
Yeah,
I don't.
okay.
I don't watch any professional sports.
Okay.
I don't watch hockey. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch baseball.
Okay.
Football. None of them. I don't give it. I couldn't give a rat's ass about
Oh.
any of them. But when it comes to the Olympics, I am watching the.
Oh yeah, it is the purest purest of the sports.
I'm watching pentathlon.
Why?
Like I'm
Why?
watching biathlon.
Why?
I'm watching the guy
Why are you
because
watching?
you don't get a venue to watch it
I don't
all
know
the time.
because the
I'm
guys.
sorry, but every
you know
4
what?
years,
But the
why
guys-
are you watching biathlon?
No, I'll
why
tell-
do you suddenly care?
I'll tell you why. Because the guy's not making $1 million a year in his contract, and there's something I gotta respect about that for the guy who's.
Why do you respect someone not making money?
I think what he's trying to say is, for a lot of
He
the
does.
sports
He
in
does
the Olympics,
justify
it is still literally amateur. And the guys that or the girls,
But it's
the
no longer.
the
but
performers
but
that are
it's
out
no
there.
longer amateur. When you have professionals who are playing in the National Hockey League,
Yeah,
We're
no,
not
playing
talking
for a
about that.
gold
We're
medal,
talking about a lot of the
those
others.
guys are not
We're
amateurs.
talking
So
about
this is
a lot
what
of
I'm
the other
talking about.
sports.
There's got to be a way to scale it down and exclude those types of people.
At one
right?
point, they were
Those are
excluded.
the sports that pay for the Olympics to happen.
That's what I'm saying. There's got to
Right?
be
The
some way
men's hockey final, the men's ice hockey final, funds the entire Winter Olympics.
and the women's too. They do good.
If,
they get
if
bring
that's
some
so,
money.
if that's
No, not the women's.
bring
The
some good money.
men's winter hockey, the men's
are you
ice
saying?
hockey final.
Women's curling funds the Olympics.
You think
Women's-
that?
I just
You
said
think
women's
that brings
hockey.
in?
I didn't say women's curling.
Okay,
No,
but,
no,
okay,
you know,
okay, but
no,
don't
I'm
get
just-
okay. Don't get sidetracked. Those sports that have professionals in them are what bankroll the Olympics.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then
The
I
Winter
agree.
Olympics. I don't know about the Summer Olympics because, you know, guys who
Well,
are sprinting like Usain Bolt.
No, it's probably basketball. Basketball
It's
then,
basketball.
and soccer, I guess, to some
Yeah.
degree, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Soccer,
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
Soccer
that.
at the Olympics doesn't matter because soccer has the World Cup, which is bigger than the Olympics, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but
World
what you,
Cup,
but,
I think, is
but
bigger
what you're
than the
saying
Olympics.
is what I agree with. What you're saying is that you're saying that the stuff that makes the Olympics in the black, maybe in the black, although they don't tend to be in the black, is the stuff that draws the viewership through television and all that kind of stuff. And what I'm saying is it should be about athleticism, and maybe there's no practical way to make an event that size.
So you're against the commercialism of the whole
course.
sport.
Yeah.
I have to agree. There's sports I watch at the Olympic every 4 years. I don't watch ever. You're watching
JR.
the elite of
Yeah,
the
but-
elite.
JR.
When is the
Hold on,
biathlon
wait.
on a Saturday night?
Wait, hold
When
on.
is it's not aired?
They replay it.
Hold on,
It's not
Depends
aired.
where
hold on.
it is.
Yeah, but
Hold
it's
on.
not like biathlon night in Canada.
Hold on. There are world championships
Yes.
that take place every year.
Yes.
Yes.
But
yes.
they are not the Olympics. They are not.
And they're not advertising.
Why
they're
are
not
the
the
Olympics?
elite.
Why are the Olympics suddenly worth more? They're
because
a world
they've
championship.
made it into it.
Because they're every 4 years. They're
It's
not
rare.
as frequent.
It's fewer. Yes.
Exactly.
You
Every
train
year
for the
is
fewer
world
competition.
championships. Every year is a world championship.
It's
People
the
get
same.
bored.
It's the same
If,
people.
if every 6 months there's going to be another world championships,
Like UFC.
who gives a shit?
there
UFC.
are
Isn't
there
there
are
like 3 UFCs a year?
Yeah, exactly.
no.
precisely.
Okay, so you don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe.
No. Factually, you don't know what you're talking about. So look, there are world championships every year for most of the events that take place at the Olympics.
Yes.
Okay.
There are world championships for beach volleyball.
Actually-
there are world championships
Actually,
for
there are events.
ice dancing.
There are annual events for all of them. Or else they
Exactly.
would not exist in the Olympics. to begin with.
Exactly. So why suddenly when you slap the Olympics marketing banner on something does that matter?
Because in every sport, there is the premier competition. Soccer has the World Cup.
He's got a point because a lot of these other
The Olympics,
annual competitions,
regular amateur sport has the Olympics.
it's what they
just
use
that
to
way.
qualify
It's
for the Olympics.
It's hundreds of world championships all rolled into one 4-week stint.
Yeah.
2 week.
They
I
use,
love it.
They use all the.
I love
they
it.
Use
I
all
can't-
these
I'm not gonna apologize for
No,
it.
they
I
use all
can't-
these annual competitions to qualify to get into the Olympics.
This is
I'm-
correct. This
look,
is
Yeah, yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Look,
yeah.
I'm
He's
just
right.
correct.
He's right.
I'm sorry. There are track and field.
Big V gets a
championships-
point.
Okay, allow me to get a point.
I need a point.
Allow me to get
Lucia.
2 points. There are track and field championships every year.
Yeah.
If a pole vaulter gets 3 consecutive annual Championships where that pole vaulter is the best in the world,
Why does he need?
why do we need the Olympics?
Because of its rarity. You only get, in some cases, you only have one shot at an Olympics in your lifetime.
Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Maybe two, depending on
As
the
a returning
sport.
champion.
If you're Mary Lou
it-
Retton, you get like 4.
But
Actually,
a World
costs.
Cup. Okay. Oh no,
Costs,
I
King
lost the World Cup
costs.
this year.
Speed
Guess what? I
skating.
can try against next year.
There's a woman.
The
that's
fewer
still
there are
competing
of
in her
something, the
50s.
more value
The
there
World
is.
Cup is every 4 years.
The World Cup of soccer, but the World Championships.
Excuse me. The World Cup of soccer is different because there is not a World Championship that takes place every year in soccer.
They have localized
Oh, wow, that's
championships.
They have
which are-
local championships,
distance,
but they don't have a World Cup. They don't have a World Championship every year.
King cost.
The same guys that are
King
competing at the
costs.
World Championship are the same guys competing at the Olympics. There's no difference. The guys running in the 100-meter
what?
dash at the World Championships are the same guys that compete for 3 years before at the World Championships.
Maybe the
There's no difference.
No, hold on. Maybe the
Champ, with all the respect, you have me in your home. I appreciate that, but you're wrong. Before you even start, you're wrong.
But hold on. Maybe the Olympics has a wider what's the word? Oh, fuck. What's
Reach.
the word I'm looking for?
Reach,
Not reach, but
interest,
Participation.
participation. Countries participating in. So you got your countries participating in a world championship, but then you got your countries participating in the Olympics. That may be greater.
This is true. I would imagine the number of countries participating in the Olympics.
Why
Is
would
for-
it? Why would it be
are
true?
larger.
Why would the number of countries competing in the Olympics be greater than the number of countries?
Because some
competing in
people
a
don't care about a world
championship?
championship that happens every year.
The World Champions don't have the viewership, and therefore not.
There's no
worth
TV
going to.
contract for a world championship.
Well, let's-
maybe
there
there
is,
is.
but-
There is, and it's
But
very small
it's worth
because
much
no
less.
one
But
cares.
a contract for an Olympic televised event is huge.
So, by that logic, then, does it mean that you should compete for the? Does it mean that you should bid for the Olympic Games no matter what the cost because it happens once every 4 years and it's
We're-
somehow unique?
That's the difference between. There's different.
Don't start backtracking.
Don't talk
Don't
about-
Hold
start.
on,
Don't
Jay.
start
There's a
backpedaling.
Give
difference
JR the
between
floor.
wanting to watch it
And competing.
and bidding on paying for it. You know,
That's exactly what
We
we're talking.
were-
We're talking about bidding for it.
we were just talking about why we like watching it.
Yeah.
Yes, but
That
but the
doesn't
topic-
justify paying for our city paying
Oh, yeah.
for it.
the
I'm
topic
I'm
that our
against.
illustrious leader put forth is: should we bid for it?
Oh
Yeah.
no!
So my answer is
That is
no.
true.
No.
That is true.
Then we are all in agreement.
But
Because-
this doesn't mean
like,
you don't
because-
have to not watch it.
No, yeah, you don't
Well,
have to hate it.
You could watch it and not want it.
I mean, look. When
Hold on,
when
time
the
out,
Winter
time out.
Olympics
The
are on,
question that was presented
you know,
is
I like
not
watching it.
whether we should bid for the Olympics.
Yes,
It's
it
whether
is.
we
Yes, it was.
know.
Yes, it
It's
is.
whether we
That's
should
exactly
bid.
what we were talking about.
No, the
That's what
question.
we've been talking
no,
about.
The question that
Hold
was
on,
brought
let
up in
him
the
finish.
beginning was whether we should bid for any specialized
The big events.
athletic or
The big events.
expo events whatsoever. If you wanna section off different levels of events, okay, so be it. You choose to say, okay, Olympics, forget it, screw
If
it.
you would not bid for the Olympics, what the hell would you bid for?
Smaller venues can actually be beneficial for some cities because of the simply lesser in cost and lesser to infrastructure that they would have to put forth.
But
Are
who
you-
would
Get
maintain
ready.
them?
Are
Who
you
would maintain
saying?
them?
Are you saying you want to put an expo or a Commonwealth Games in a city like Hamilton?
Commonwealth maybe.
No, it's too big. It's too big a show.
Well, but the thing is, it wouldn't be just them though. It's just like how Toronto with the Pan Am, we used Mississauga, we used the outskirts of the Whoa, what's with your mic, man?
Well, we went to
Yeah,
the
it's
whole.
true.
They're trying to control your.
we used
your
the whole
voice.
GTA.
Even
Yeah.
Simcoe region, we used Hamilton, it was not just Toronto, right? The same thing would end up being with Hamilton. It would be Hamilton. It could be Niagara region. It could be parts of the western part of the GTA area. It could even be Guelph and Kitchener. You know what I mean? But something like the Pan Am, or maybe even smaller, the Commonwealth, could actually benefit and give them some increase.
Give them what? Give them what?
Increase in infrastructure with regards to either transportation or actual buildings or venues for.
You got to move
their
people
public.
around.
See, I think that's taking the wrong turn. Like to sign up for these kinds of massive machines.
I agree with Tito.
As some medium for building infrastructure in your city. It's a disaster.
I guess
it's a disaster.
It's true, but if it's that or deal with just limp along with crumbling streets, I can see why some smaller towns try to bid.
Okay, hold on.
Like
Let's not say
Lilyhammer?
Hamilton is a town. It's a city.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Barcelona what?
Barcelona's Olympics were very successful.
Okay, did it put Barcelona on the map?
Apparently it did.
Okay, so is Barcelona reaping the rewards 30 years later?
It's a
I went there last.
major
I went there
tourist-
last summer.
It's a major
You went there
tourist
last summer.
destination.
Did you go there because the Olympics were there?
I went there because I knew it existed.
Okay.
And that's because the Olympics were there.
So then, should we outlaw or ban cities that are already established? So what business do Los Angeles and Paris have bidding for the 2024 Olympics?
No, those are the ones that should be bidding for it.
Because
I'm not sure why you
because
think we have to ban them.
Because they're the ones that can that have the infrastructure already and don't have to.
You know what? Yeah, they
They're-
have the
yes,
infrastructure.
they're
they
big
have the
cities. They already
stadiums that could
have
just
it.
upgrade.
Exactly.
Or not upgrade. Like,
So
why
what's
does it
the
have to
point
be?
of putting it in a small city?
The problem is,
But I didn't
is-
say put
is
it in a small
turning
city.
it into a show. It doesn't need to be a show.
Yes, that's true.
Like we've built it into our minds that it needs to be some
Extravaganza.
some Hollywood extravaganza, and that's not what it
But you know
should
what?
be about.
But then blame the Olympic Committee because the
course.
Olympic Committee takes a paycheck.
They take the bids.
They just roam around the world, looking at these bids.
I mean,
They judge who wins the bid.
like where does the funding for running the Olympics come from?
The funding,
the
the
hosting
funding, I believe,
Private?
comes from
Private.
So every country has an individual Olympic committee. So
Yes.
there is a
Yeah,
Canada
okay.
Olympic Committee. There is a United States Olympic Committee. There's a Turkey Olympic Committee, apparently, right? So every individual individual country has an Olympic Committee, right? And those are the bodies that may give awards for medals. So in the U.S., if you got a gold, you get 25 grand or whatever the case may be, right? Those are not paid out by the actual Olympic Committee. Are they headquartered somewhere in Brussels or something like that?
The IOC.
The IOC.
The
right?
IOC.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
paid out by the countries.
Right, it's paid out by the country. The International Olympic Committee, the IOC, they look after the trademark of the Olympics. They sign the television deals. They collect billions of dollars. It's a wonderful scam because they go to a city, they get cities to bid to have those games. They collect money from the TV. They don't own any of the infrastructure. So
Licensing.
when someone needs a new velodrome for all the cycling events, the Olympic Committee, the IOC doesn't own that that venue. It's somehow owned by the city or whatever, or 6 levels of government or whoever the hell put in money to buy it, right? They don't pay the athletes anything, right? They just sit back, fat cats, taking bribes for putting a city at number 1 and voting. You know what, Beijing, you're gonna get the Olympics.
There's no proof.
7 points.
There was no
7
proof.
points
There
for
was
the
no
Breeze.
proof.
Thank you.
There's
Mentioning
no
the
proof that
bribery.
anybody took any bribes.
No,
We're
No, there
just
is plenty
using
of proof.
using
Actually,
this example.
There's plenty
not saying
of
it.
proof that there's been bribery going on and corruption going on in the IOC.
That's the whole reason you go to work for the IOC. Is for the bribes.
Exactly.
I love my bribes.
Working for the IOC is technically voluntary. There's got to be some sort of incentive. You don't get paid on the Olympic position is a voluntary position.
Let's not get started on the
On-
bribery
on-
in the World Cup,
on-
in the
on
FIFA,
paper, on
in the
paper.
FIFA
No,
world.
Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
Not talking about FIFA.
We're not going to talk about FIFA. We'll save that for another
on
because
paper-
that is
Another
just
podcast.
On
another
paper, yeah,
comedy
FIFA
show on its own.
and the Olympic position, they're all voluntary positions. There's
Oh my God,
that-
voluntary.
That just on paper it's voluntary.
Jeez.
I'm not saying they're not getting kickbacks. Don't. I'm not. That's
No,
not,
I'm just saying,
not
like,
being stupid.
who wouldn't want to work
Well,
for an Olympic committee because
But somehow it costs $50 million to bid for the games. To bid.
is it 50 million or is it like less than
to
10?
bid. Los Angeles is estimated to pay $54 million just to bid for the games.
You know,
I wonder if that's
Wherever
is
that money is
voluntary.
let me tell you
Yes.
something.
Yeah, it's voluntary.
Let me
So
tell you
It's
something.
voluntary.
So
that's
just-
that's
just to
that's,
fill out
that's
the form.
bid.
No,
That's
but just
that's
to fill out the
bid.
form that I want to bid, does that cost you to fill out the form?
$55 million.
Or does the presentation that to put together
It's the whole
cost
thing.
50?
It's the
It's
whole thing.
everything.
Everything.
It's everything.
To
So-
fill out the form, you have to have the
To
presentation.
fly the people over to make their presentation. This is our subway. It's going to run through Scarborough.
So I wonder, is there some way to scale down the Olympics and make it not so capital heavy and still be runnable?
The ultimate scale down. Just ignore the Olympics.
Isn't that awesome?
No, seriously.
I find that I need them. I need.
Why? Why do you? I
don't know.
don't understand
I don't-
why
may-
you follow them.
Maybe I'm.
You know what? Listen, there's nothing wrong with following
you
the
know,
Olympics and watching the
enchanted
sport.
by
Why don't you watch the Olympics?
some
It's
magical
amateur.
thing
Yeah,
about
You're
I mean, it's
enchanted
amateur
by the
sport.
Olympics.
about
For the most part, except for
international
when the
brotherhood and
professionals come in, like the hockey and the basketball.
It's all
I
about
love
solidarity.
watching.
I
the
don't know.
Olympics.
I don't
wouldn't
know.
pay
But I
for
feel
them.
it.
I
I
tune
feel
in.
it
think
every
Toronto
4
should pay
years.
for them, but I would love to. I love
feel it.
watching them,
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not going to justify my love for it.
But do I want
For the Olympics? For
To
the
watch
Olympics?
them, yes. I'm
You
not
love watching the Olympics?
Oh yeah, it's great sport.
I enjoy
Okay.
it too.
Once
But I'm not
around
gonna,
the
I wouldn't
table,
Pay for it.
who actually watches the Olympics?
I will watch the most
When I-
obscure sport during the Olympics.
When I have an
and
Tito,
enjoy-
yes,
and
started
enjoy
When I,
Big
it.
have,
V?
when I have an opportunity, I will watch specific sports. Actually, not
yeah, but
not the mainstream ones.
we want to
Champ?
know Olympics.
Champ, do
Olympics.
you watch the Olympics when they're on?
Yeah.
I tune into the Winter Olympics. I really don't tune into the summer ones.
JR.
When the Olympics are on, winter and summer, it's the only thing that's on my television. I
Yeah.
watch the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
For myself, I ignore them completely.
And you are
What about-
on
so-
an island by yourself.
Okay, but why? Let's
Apparently, yes,
let's
I am.
ask why. What about your parents? Did they do they watch the Olympics?
His
I
father
have
had
no
a first. Your dad had a first fucking row seat in the Montreal Olympics. Don't give me that shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. My dad did go to Expo.
Yeah,
He
there's
went to
nothing-
the-
there's
he
nothing
went
wrong
to the
with that, no.
Olympics. But I am shocked because I am apparently on an island by myself where the Olympics are on, and I just don't give a shit.
There's a lot you don't give a shit.
The
unfortunately.
problem
we
is,
noticed
It's
that.
just something
You know
that
what?
runs in
But
your
we
life.
still love you. We still love you.
The thing
You
is,
don't give a
Even-
shit about a lot of stuff.
If you don't give a shit about everything,
It's from a man who didn't
we
attend his
still
own
love you.
graduation.
Okay.
the thing is, I think it's about the pride we have
Yes.
in our athletes that compete.
Even if the Canadian
we
athlete
do
isn't
really-
performing,
Yeah. Well, okay.
you're
Okay.
talking about
The Winter Olympics are kind of cool. I mean, there's the bobsledding, the luge. I mean, those are really
Skiing.
fucking really high speed.
Very
I mean,
exciting.
that's fucking
Okay.
dangerous.
Oh, better yet, even
Some
the
are-
ski jumping. Even the ski jumping's crazy.
Summer
The
Olympics.
ski jumping is
I
fucking
watched
nuts.
I watched high jump from start to finish.
Oh, that guy.
Oh, I watched all the swimming.
You know
So
what? You
now-
get that
Swimming was-
altitude. I don't know what you
I watched
would
some
do.
of the swimming. Yeah, I
The
like that.
rowing.
Think about it.
I love it.
Oh, I love the I love
It's-
the run.
it-
Okay, you
it's
guys
a
are talking
level-
about summer, which is
It's even in general. The Olympics is just a level and quality of sport unparalleled anywhere else. If you're going to watch the best sport on earth, you gotta
And-
watch
and
it. If
there's-
you're
You know what,
It
guys?
happens every year
You're
at the
going- you're
World
wa- you're gonna watch
Championships.
the
No, but
Okay.
It
there's a,
happens every year.
but
you know what,
there's a-
guys? I think it.
There's a prestige. There's a prestige,
And
and
so
whether
people
that's
try harder.
whether that's a self-fulfilling kind of
maybe.
thing.
But
that
it
they-
happens
that's
every
propagated.
year.
Huge. Hold
Those,
on.
Yeah, but it doesn't
those
have the
horsey
same
riding
prestige.
motherfuckers.
Can I say
It's
something?
the same
The
people.
horses
No,
are
hold on.
robbed.
Hold
on,
The
let's-
horses are robbed.
Let's give yes.
It is
every
not.
year.
It
Let's
is
give
not.
Big V the floor, and then we're gonna close it off.
It is. Eugene has been saying it's the same people every year that show up at the Olympics from the annual world events. It isn't necessarily all the same people. A lot of athletes, a lot of countries cannot afford to send their athletes to every annual
Yeah.
competition.
Mm-hmm.
They will send their athletes a year to 6 months before the next Olympics to whatever world competition or whatever regional competition that will allow their athletes the opportunity to meet their requirements to gain a spot in the Olympics, to qualify. And that will be the only time a lot of them will ever be seen on the world stage. And not even the world stage. It may be just a regional stage before the Olympics. So for you to say that it's the same people, it's the same shit every year, it's not justifiable. Because straight out, like Ben said before, there is not the same number of countries at a world event as there is in the Olympics, because the Olympics every 4 years gives the opportunity to all the countries, especially those who financially cannot do it continuously, that one opportunity to send, even if the guy sucks or the girl sucks in comparison to everybody else in the world, it gives them that one chance to just be there, to wave their country flag, to wear their country symbol on their body with regards to their outfit, and to give them that one chance to go out there and do whatever the fuck it is they can do. And even if it's just to better themselves, that one opportunity, there's just that one chance to do it every 4 years.
7 points for Big V. He made a really good point.
Why every 4 years do you care, and will you sit down to watch the women's pole vault competition?
I don't know.
Do you watch the women's pole vault?
If I'm home when it's being shown,
Pole vault is
sure.
awesome.
I watch the volleyball.
Maybe I'll watch the women's volleyball. Maybe I'll watch the guys high jump. Maybe for some reason I like speed skating in the Winter Olympics.
But
Doesn't
there
matter if
are-
it's guys or girls.
There are world track
I
and
think we
field
should
championships
extend the
that
respect
take
that
place
they-
every
Sure.
year, and it is the same people competing at those world track and field championships that are competing at the Olympics.
Yeah, but you know what?
What did I
Big
just
V,
say?
Big V has a point. If you got the money, if you don't have enough of the money, you probably want to spend it at the Olympics to send your athletes there than something every year.
But if
Anyone
you
else?
don't, but if you don't go to the World Championships,
Yeah.
you don't qualify for the Olympics.
It doesn't have to be the World
No,
Championships.
I think-
it could be any
I think you have to-
qualifying
yeah.
international event or non-international. It could be just regional.
Yeah.
As long as it's recognized and you actually qualify, whether it's
If you-
time
Exactly.
or points.
Very good.
Or if it's weightlifting, you meet the weight
Two more
requirement.
points. 2 more points.
You and gain a spot in the Olympics, or at least you make
Hold
the
on.
qualification. And if you're the only one in your country that met that qualification, if your
Yeah.
country wants to send you, they
You're
can.
right.
They
He's
can
right.
send you.
If your
If your
someone's a
country
track and
can't
field-
afford to, and somehow you can on your own,
Watch your levels.
hallelujah. You go on your own as an independent.
If someone runs the fastest lap in your country that falls within the Olympic
Qualifications?
limit, yeah, you qualify.
and your country wants to send you, or you can make it your own, hallelujah.
You can go,
You can go.
but you gotta pay. You gotta pay the ticket.
Someone's
you gotta
gotta
pay
pay
the
you.
flight. You got. I'm sure you gotta pay your room. Pay your room.
Someone's got to pay for the
It's
whole,
not free.
whole enchilada.
Right?
But it's
No, getting there is not free.
Getting there is not free, and staying there is not free.
somebody there.
I
No,
don't-
I don't think
The
so.
athletes don't get paid anything by the International Olympic Committee.
Exactly.
They get paid nothing.
No.
Yes.
Someone has to pay for their stay in the country and feed them,
And maybe
and it's not the IOC.
And
I
you
don't,
know-
I don't understand why
and-
any of you follow the Olympics at all. I just don't get it.
Let's close it off.
I don't get it.
Let's close it off. We've had an excellent discussion here tonight on bidding the games. Let's give ourselves a few words.
Okay,
Big
wait,
V,
hold on. Is it the Olympic Games, or are we just talking about
you know what we're
I-
talking about city sponsored
an
events.
activity?
Okay, so
A
yeah.
world
Should
recognized-
Toronto? So should your
Should a city like
should
Toronto-
a city bid for the Olympic Games?
No, just stop saying the Olympic Games. It's anything. It could be Pan Am. It could be Commonwealth.
You know
it could
what?
be Expo.
But you can break it up. You can say, you know
say,
what?
Speak from the heart.
Yeah,
maybe,
well,
you
can
could
say-
maybe you think Expo's worth it and the
Okay,
Olympics are
from
not.
what I said at the beginning,
because
from what I said at the beginning, obviously these different world events or activities merit different levels of scope with regards to amount of money required, amount of infrastructure required, amount of even volunteers required. they're just, it's different. Each one, to say that Toronto is not deserving of the Olympics is different saying that they may be deserving of the Commonwealth Games or Expo. So, you know what? My honest opinion is go with what you can handle. With regards to what you already have or what you can afford to put in that's not there.
I hope you're not looking for TTC contracts.
Ma, please. I'll be retired before some of this stuff gets in.
Tito.
It's true.
If I'm a poor farmer from Ghana who can run really fast,
Yeah.
and my country can only send me to one Olympics in my lifetime, that's all I can.
I'll let you finish.
and that's all I can afford to
Yeah.
go because
Yeah.
I'm busy growing
Growing
maize
crops.
for my children
Maize.
to eat.
Yeah. Yes.
Then I'm gonna go to those Olympics,
Okay.
and that's why the Olympics should exist. But do I expect my town from where I'm from to
Yeah.
run the Olympics?
Yeah.
No. Do I expect Toronto to do that? No. There's very few towns.
Do you expect? But do you
Cities.
want?
No,
do
I
you
don't.
want?
I
Do you
don't
want that
want.
city to
No,
to
because
put the money together?
No, because
send a committee,
No.
caviar and wine,
No, I
put
do
on
not
a
want
PowerPoint
that.
presentation.
Red carpet, limousines.
Ridiculous.
Don't forget the
ridiculous.
bribery.
That is the bribery.
We'll bribe them with Lake Cox.
But I want
Lake
the
Wilkes beer.
But I want the farmer from Ghana to go to the Olympics and run and win a gold medal.
For sure. All right. Breeze.
Good match, bro.
When it comes to events like the Olympics, Expo I could probably get behind because it is a more, as JR was saying, it's spread out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And it is more of a technology, future-oriented, here's how life can get better type of event. When it comes to sporting events like the Olympics, the World Championships, things like that, I would have to say that a city would be completely daft to even bid for these games, to bid for any sort of sporting event. There are World Championships that happen every year. It's the same track and field professionals that compete at the World Championships, that compete at any of the Olympic Games. As Tito was saying, I can appreciate that there is there's a farmer in Ghana who can run faster than anyone else, but
Forget Usain Bolt.
I don't think that that's going to happen in reality.
Farhad.
The athletes that compete are professional in that is the only thing that they do. They are the best in the world at what they do, and the Olympics seems to be an unnecessary top level competition that takes place that somehow supersedes the World Championships that take place every year. So when it comes to bidding for the Olympic Games, I hope Toronto never bids again, because the Olympic Games have proven time and again to be a financial disaster. And for the athletes, hey, if you want to be the best in the world at what you do, there are World Championships that you can go to. You don't need the Olympic Games. That's what I have to say on the topic.
Thank you, Breeze. JR.
I'm just going to reiterate Tito's points. Toronto has no business hosting an Olympic Games. The cost has just become exaggerated, which could be better spent elsewhere.
It's unsustainable.
But for 2 glorious weeks, I will watch nothing but the Olympics for every 4
Wow.
hours.
You are part of the problem.
I will watch that hell out of the Olympics.
Thank you, JR. Thank you, my guest. What?
You.
I didn't finish.
I want to thank my guests for joining me tonight around the
No,
table.
no. We need your
Your
opinion.
opinion. Oh
Your
my
opinion.
God,
My
man.
opinion.
If Toronto was to bid for an international,
You just can't ask the
major
questions.
sporting
Okay.
event,
And
Or
cut people
the
off. You have
Expos.
to give a...
Okay,
would you support it?
Or
so-
not just Olympics. What the actual question was at the beginning.
the Olympic. So the question was, would we support bidding and going for these games? Olympic wise, it's a lot of money. You can take those millions of dollars and put them to better use within the city. When it comes to the Expo, though, it's different. I mean, JR had a point that maybe it's not as a big flow of people within 2 weeks, but you're hosting a world exposition for 6 months, and you're getting a flow. I mean, if you got all the pavilions there and people are coming in to see your city, then hey, you've got 6 months of people coming in and checking out your town, right? You've got some good tax money coming in from hotel stays, restaurants, and all that. Olympics is too short of a time for, in my opinion, to spend the money, even though it's 4 weeks. But like I said, that money could be better spent on the people in the city. So Olympics, no. Keep the money, spend it on something else.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Be
you.
quiet.
Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time, and don't forget, search for our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or add us on your favorite podcast catching app.
Twitter.
And don't forget to tweet us at Crew Roundtable. And if you have a question, tweet us at
Crew Roundtable.
Crew Roundtable. Hashtag Ask the Crew.
Hashtag
the crew.
ask the
Hashtag Ask the
crew.
Crew. We'll be more than happy to ask the question. No one has asked us a question yet. Twitter's just looking at us.
Hey, yo,
I
this is
am
your
I
chance.
am available.
first.
I am
Yeah.
available for antenna installations.
It's Big V. He's not that expensive.
Anything to stick it to Rogers.
Yes, but make sure you give him a good pasta dinner.
Sure, I'll take it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Fucking goat.
You don't do that when he starts doing his wrap up.
You've been listening to the Crew Roundtable Podcast. Thank you for listening. For more information on our show, please visit us at www.crewroundtable.com. You can also reach us over Twitter at Crew Roundtable. Hashtag Ask the Crew for show ideas, topics, or questions.